Okay, Naveen Jain, I'm so happy to have you on our interview here today. And you're preparing yourself as I am for RAADfest, and we're so excited to have you on board for that. You are doing so many great things. You're an entrepreneur and philanthropist. You founded Viome, Moon Express, World Innovation Institute, TalentWise, Intelius. I mean, my God, on and on and on. And you're also the author of a great award-winning book, Moonshots. Tell us a little bit about Moonshots, will you, just to begin with, because I don't think most people know. I mean, I've read some of it, others have read, but it's an extraordinary book. Can you just give us a short summary of what that's basically about?
So moonshots are really this symbolic idea of what humanity is capable of doing, right? So my thought really in this book is, how do we create this world of abundance and change the mindset from the scarcity of, you know, everything is limited, and if someone else has it, you can't have it. Can we create this mindset of abundance where we all can actually live a healthier and richer lives, and how the non-experts are actually better at solving the problems than the experts are?
So often true, yes. Well, I love that, because that's really, as you know, what RAADfest is about, bringing everybody together. It's good to have some good, healthy dialogue or even debate, but not to put each other down, compete in a way that is destructive. So the idea of RAADfest is bring everybody together, share information, use the power of collective intelligence, is what I call it.
And I think collective intelligence from multidisciplinary area, that is really where the crux of the issue is. Not just the data scientists alone, not just the doctors alone, not just the computing people alone. It's really the different ideas that come together, and when they meld together, that's where the disruption happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. We see that happen from the very first year in 2016 on at RAADfest. Just it becomes a melting pot of information, and some people just couldn't believe what a great flow there was of energy together, and the new concepts of people getting science, some of our scientists getting support with what they're doing, because that's so necessary right now. We had quite a few investors there and other entrepreneurs, so there was a really fantastic, very powerful sharing of information and bringing it together in a way that was very explosive.
So, but I think, Jim, very interesting thing that RAADfest, that I find fascinating about RAADfest is that, day before any idea, day before the breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. And the day after the breakthrough, it's an obvious idea, right? And that's what the RAADfest is about. Those breakthrough ideas that people think are so crazy that they will never work until they work. And then in that case, everyone says, I told the guy it was going to work.
Exactly. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of those crazy ideas that turned out to be, so fantastic. That but you have other people say, "Oh, that's never going to work. That's never," But yeah, thank you for saying that. That's a great perception of that. So, in your mind, why do people age?
Well, I think the people age because of the underlying inflammation in our body. So when we don't treat our body right, they age, right? So aging is something that should never happen to the body, because our bodies are supposed to heal themselves. So let me just restart. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves, and our bodies are actually designed to be healthy. It is when the external environment and the food that we feed ourselves is not in symbiosis with what our body needs. So our body is constantly sending us the signal of what it needs. And when we don't listen to that signal and feed the body what it doesn't need, that's when the aging starts. Aging is a process of actually dysbiosis. So aging is a dysbiosis of the body, and rather than being in homeostasis.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for that. It's a good definition. So now I've seen through the years, because I've been doing this quite some time, like you have, a lot of people eat perfect. Well, I may say eat perfect. Sometimes it's hard to determine exactly what that really is, but they eat really well. Throughout history, there's been people who have really paid attention to their diet. Going way back, we've had better diets probably in some levels we had now, but you still see the same issue. It's great to live a healthy lifespan, but my experience is that, and why I'm doing what I'm doing, is that we're going to need innovations that just go past even what we've known as, say, the perfect diet or the perfect supplement, to get to what we call unlimited lifespans. Breaking that what I call the death barrier. So what's your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that we're going to need innovations? And of course, they're coming out, like maybe gene therapies, CRISPR, senolytics, many of the new things that are coming on the table now. Do you think this is something very necessary to take us where we go? And if you're in good shape, like you're talking about, and should be, and your body healing, are you more receptive, or will those therapies work better on you?
So first of all, let's break it down. There are lots of great questions you're asking here, right? Number one is that, is there something called universal healthy diet? The answer is no. So just because you think you're eating healthy doesn't mean you are actually eating healthy, because we know almost half the people are actually harmed by eating things like spinach because it's high in oxalate. Or a lot of people who are eating broccoli or cabbage or Brussels sprout, they may think it's healthy, it's actually maybe harming them. So the food needs to be personalized. And it's not something new. We knew that 2,500 years ago when Hippocrates said one man's food is another man's poison, right? And that is really the thing, that everybody has to understand what's happening in their body and what is the right food for them. Not every supplement is good for everyone. NAD may be bad for you, NAD may be good for you. Some people take curcumin, it may be good for you, it may be bad for you. Vitamin B3, it may be good for you, it may be bad for you. So it literally has to be individualized. And that's the biggest breakthrough that's going to happen, will be this idea of a one size fits all. And there's going to be a silver bullet that is going to actually, there's going to be a fountain of youth everyone can drink, and somehow it's going to be healthy. That, I think, is going to go away. It is going to be individualized and personalized. So when you talk about CRISPR is good for many things. And the best thing it can really do is a lot of genetic diseases, but those are few and far between. So it's not the genes that actually cause you to age. It is, I think you mentioned cellular senescence, senolytics. Those are the kind of things that are going to be much more useful. But I think what is really going to be useful would be to using the food as a medicine to actually remove the cellular senescence, to actually allow cells not to be in this senescence stage.
So it just using the food as the medicine will enable us, from what I experience and what I hear you saying, will get us to that I'll say, you call it homostasis.
Yes.
Where we can have the best of health. But then again, we're going to need, because we have a issue here that biologically we've only been able to, whether it's the evolutionary process or the telomere process or a combination, that we only seem to have this limited lifespan, even if it goes up to, say, what we have documented, 123, 124 years old.
It's going to change.
That's documented. Yeah, to get past that, we're going to need innovations, right? I mean, we can be the most perfect person because of health, but we're going to need innovations. We're already using innovations, get there, but we're going to need something to take us to, I'll say, interfere with this or interrupt this aging process in a dynamic way. Isn't that the way you see it? Or let me know your thought.
So first of all, Jim, think about it. There are whales that live to be 400 or 500 years. So as a mammalian, as a mammals, there is no reason why you and I shouldn't be living it to be 300-400 years, 700-800 years. I agree. There is absolutely no reason out there that's biologically that says we are built in to die when we are 120. It's the same thing if you go back, thousands of years ago. The normal lifespan was 20 years or 30 years. And then you start to see the people live to be 50, and they thought, well, that was the limit. Then people live to be 70, and then people live to be 90, and then people live to be 110. My point is, once we understand that what is causing us to age, why do our organs fail? Because there is no reason for our organs to fail. Can we actually use the stem cells to rejuvenate our own organs? Can we start to have nanobots in our body constantly monitoring and repairing ourselves? And all of these things are going to happen in our lifetime. So I really believe if you can protect yourself from doing something stupid and dying in doing something totally stupid, there is going to be a time where we're going to reach the escape velocity and we're going to be able to live for as long as we want. And not only we're going to increase the lifespan, we're going to also increase the health span. That means we're going to live healthy until the day we die.
Yeah, wow. I'm so happy to hear you say that, because that's how I feel. And really, that's what RAADfest is all about. And there's so many people now, great people like scientists, doctors, thought leaders that are beginning to think this way, and it's tremendous. I remember back when I first started speaking on super longevity, in 1972, hardly anybody was speaking about longevity. And so now to have this thought happening and seeing all the new protocols and innovations come out, it's exciting. And I do think like you do. I think we're going to have this sooner than we think. So how long do you want to live, by the way? Do you have a goal, or is it, or how do you feel about it?
I honestly think it's going to be somewhere between 800 years to 1200 years. And I think that's going to be, and that's really the right, at least to start with. And I may change my mind when I get to, once I get to be 800, I might change my mind to live to be maybe 5,000 years, but at least at this point, I'm satisfied with 800 years.
That's great. That's a good start. Well, I would say probably, and if we look at this at a philosophical level or even physiological level, if you get to 800, you're doing something right? Yeah. And you've got to be having a pretty fantastic life. I mean, you're going to have to live the vitality. So I think all of us, we can make these projections, but like you said, at the same time, we get 800 and we're feeling great. We're not going to want to die then. So it's
that's
kind
my
of
point.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this way. What I was trying to say was biological age is what matters. That means how young I feel.
Exactly.
And today, my biological age is now 13 years below my chronological age. And I really believe that by the time I turn to be 70 or 75, I can bring my biological age down to 35 or 40. And in that case, what's the reason for me to feel like 80 when I can run up the stairs and climb the mountains? Whether I'm 80, 85, it doesn't matter, because I'm still doing the things. My body is still behaving like I'm a 40-year-old. And who in their right mind want to die when they are top of their world?
Absolutely. Who in the right mind is, that's how I feel for sure. So what do you think is, when you're speaking of being in the right mind, I go around and I'm speaking everywhere about super longevity. I speak very boldly about it. If I'm out somewhere and out to dinner and somebody asks me what I do, a waitress or whoever, a waiter, I tell them, just outright. And many times they're either in kind of shock, or they don't look at you like you're crazy as much anymore because there's more news out. But what do you think is the primary resistance we have now that we have to deal with? And what do you think it's going to take to break through that?
I think the people's mind have, obviously, as they have seen, they actually associate the aging with a poor health. Yes, and they see their grandmother saying, oh my God, my grandmother was 85. She had dementia. She could not walk. She could not poop. She could not do anything. And they say, I don't want to live to be like that. Is when they say, I don't want to live long, that is what they remember. But if you can tell them that when you are 90 years old, you would still be doing the same thing when you did when you were 40 years old. Nobody says, I don't want to be 90 then. What they don't want to do is to be dependent on someone where you can't do the things you want to do or you are able to do. And that is the trick, is when people start to believe that you're going to be healthy until the day you die, nobody wants to die.
Yes, for sure. They don't want to live in some decrepit state. I think that's also, like you said, one of the first things that's come up. Also, I get, and I'm sure you have, the response that, oh, this is such a horrible world now to live in. It's so many horrible things going on. The treatment of the abuse of human beings that's going on, and it's a hard world. And they'll say, I love life now, but I can't wait to get out of here. They have some other place they think they're going to go, whether it's imaginary or not, but they don't want to keep living. So what do you think this whole idea that we're talking about now of living unlimited lifespans, how do you think that can affect that way of thought? You think, in other words, super longevity is going to, once we break through that death barrier, is going to change the outlook as far as the desire to live also, and make this place, make this world a better place? Or what's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, several things here. Number one is, a lot of people think that, hey, our planet Earth cannot support more than 10 billion people, right? This is the same thing. Yeah, and the same thing people used to say when we had 1 billion people. God forbid if there were 2 billion people, this Earth couldn't support. And now we are here sitting at 7.4 billion. And the worry we have as humanity is not going to be the overpopulation. The worry we right now have is the people are actually dying faster than the new people are being born. That means we're going to have a decline of humanity. And this idea of that we're going to live on a planet Earth, that's going to change, because we are going to become a multi-planetary society to survive as humanity. So we're going to be living on the moon and Mars and the Venus and beyond our solar system into a different solar system in our galaxy. We're going to go beyond our galaxy into a different galaxy. We're going to go beyond our Milky Way, or even beyond our universe into a different universe in a multiverse, right? So the idea is we're going to be an interplanetary society. So it's going to have many more places to live. And this idea that somehow the world is so horrible. In fact, we're living in the most peaceful time. If you look at historically, if you go back,
there's certain truth in that.
I mean, it used to be constant fight. People used to be always at war.
Yeah.
Today, we are actually a much more peaceful world when you look at the number of people who are dying of violence.
We just hear a lot more about it now because of the internet, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Yeah. But I really think that, our world is going to be more peaceful as we increase the prosperity and as people actually believe there is a future is going to be better than yesterday. And I think the reason people are willing to die is because they believe that tomorrow is going to be no better than yesterday. If they can absolutely be convinced that tomorrow is going to be substantially better than yesterday, nobody would die.
Yeah,
and I think the innovation that you and the RAADfest are actually the whole tribe of RAADfest comes together is to really to show people that tomorrow is going to be so phenomenal, not to die today, so you can enjoy that tomorrow.
That's great. You're going to add a lot to RAADfest, Naveen. It's great. That's great. I love your whole thought process in this, and energetically, it's true and it's really real stuff. So I think that do you think that the increasing lifespans and breaking through what we call the death barrier and being able to live 200, 300 years is going to increase the value of human life? And if so, will that also help people want to invest themselves deeper here? Because right now, they're just really a short time here on the planet. It's like they're passing through, so they don't really take care of the planet. So you think that's going to have an incentive to take care of things better?
I think so. I mean, think about it. When you rent a car versus you own a car, when you know you're going to actually have that vehicle for the next 500 years, you take care of it, right? Versus you're going to rent it for 4 hours and you actually do whatever you need to do and destroy that body. If you know you need this body for the next 800 years, you're going to take care of it. You're going to take care of the planet, because what is outside our body, the ecosystem, affects our ecosystem in our body. And we are all interconnected. We all live in this one universal part of consciousness where everything around us impacts everything else we do. And I really also believe that once you have a long lifespan and a long health span, people actually become more peaceful because they know there is so much to do.
100%. Yes.
And I really also think that people's mindset changes when they don't have to do something for a short term. If I don't do it today, I may not have a time to do it. Versus I have 800 years to do these things. Let us do them in a right way. Let's not try to rush through life.
There you go. I love that. Yeah. Kind of takes the anxiety out of it. We have too much anxiety as it is. Yeah. I've experienced that myself. There's a certain peace in that. Yet I'm not apathetic either. I feel, I'll say driven, and I call it a relaxed intensity to create what we need, to manifest this new world. At the same time, I don't feel the anxiety that you're talking about. So that's a great thing to experience. I think people who get this in their bodies, the idea of being able to have healthy, like you said, vibrant, long, unlimited lifespans, my experience is they have, at this point, there some changes in them as far as their humanity. They have a greater feeling for themselves and other people. So I think that's a huge, just a psychological shift that happens. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think about it. When people know they have to live with them for a long time, they start to take a very different attitude towards that person versus you said, this person is short term, I'm going to be with them for short term. So when you know you have a long time, you tend not to piss off people because you know you're going to run into them for a very long time.
We're going to piss them off. It might be for thousands of years. We can't afford that.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, look, we could just go on and on because this is such an amazing conversation. Thank you for so much. I know there's a lot of things too, unlimited concepts, ideas, and thoughts you have in this, and I can't wait to hear you at RAADfest. I know you got some great information too for people direct information that people can apply to their health And that's what people are looking for too at RAADfest. What can they apply to actually be able to live stronger and better, every day? So I know you'll have a lot to share in that. But thank you so much for taking this interview, and I'm very excited to see you at RAADfest.
I am just so pumped up about being a RAADfest and really being part of the RAADfest community, and give them some actual things they can do today to live healthier and longer. And one day, they at least that initial part, could take them to be living for a very long time.
Yeah, fantastic. I think we're going to get a big bonfire going here. That's going to possibly spread across the earth. That's what we want to do, right? A fire of life rather than of death. So, all right. Well, thanks again. Is there anything you want to add before we close here?
All I can say, Jim, thank you for doing what you do here. This is an unbelievable community that you have created. More than anything else, anyone who's listening to this, please come and join us at RAADfest, because this is going to be a blast.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Take care.